This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Welcome in. It is the 7th of July, 7/7/25, which, you know, now that I get to the 25, it's not as cool of a stat there.
Make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
In Meltdown, and we're thrilled to be back around the pop culture
Why can't I make
campfire,
any changes
talking
without an
movies
admin
and all
approval?
things
Why?
With Monday.com's
lifestyle,
intuitive
there's
work
a lot to
management
catch up on.
platform,
We have literally not been in the same room in 6 days, something like that. So there's a lot to catch up on. I am Tim Melton. Joining me here in studio today, the Culver studio, is the one and only EG. EG, how are you? How was the vacation?
It was good. Much needed.
You were back to Atlanta,
Yes.
and I assume you did not go to Lenox Square Mall. What did you do with your time?
I spent most of it with my niece, Miss Sadie. So it was her. She's at that fun age where, like, she knows what you're saying, but she still doesn't listen. But she can't really say anything either. You know what I mean?
Tell me if I'm right or wrong about this. 2 years old now?
No, year and a half.
Year and a half, but we're
January.
getting there.
We're getting there.
Okay, we're getting there.
So she can process things. She knows what you're saying, but she has opinions, but she can't, like, voice them. But it's fun because, like, she'll come up and just kind of, like, give you, like, a little kiss or, like, hug your legs. And I'm like, you're perfect. I would do anything for her. And my bank account is reflecting that.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Well, that makes poker even more important
It
tonight
does.
because from what I've heard, you are in,
Oh, yeah.
and
Need it.
you need to lock in and be ready tonight. What are you telling yourself, and how much have you thought about poker at all over the past 6 days, or have you completely detached from it?
I actually completely detached from it. Weirdly enough. Been looking forward to it, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any sort of strategy? I mean, that you can let me know about. Obviously, I'm a competitor coming off of a win last week, so I'm
Yeah,
looking to make
yeah.
it 2 in a row.
I mean, I would say I don't have a strategy tonight. I'm just going in. Competitive, but excited to see everyone and just having a good evening.
I'm very interested to see how your night shapes out.
Me too. I think
Because-
I'm more interested than anyone.
Okay. Well, that'll be a lot of fun to detail tomorrow
Yes.
here on Meltdown Live. We have Tyler Lionel Johns in the house as well. Tyler, it was really great on the last episode having Joe from Culver's here with us.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of fun. And, you know, I know he was very excited walking out of here with a trivia win, which if you have not caught that episode, go check out the latest Meltdown before today. And,
Even though Tim just spoiled it.
well, I would say
don't think
that people have
so.
had
No.
6 days.
Yeah.
People have had
Yeah.
6 days. That's
I'm
fair.
messing with you.
It was a good joke.
You.
No, it was a good timing joke. But one thing I will spoil is that Tyler did not make it an official world title match.
No.
He did not put the trophy on the line. And you better be happy you didn't, because Joe would have walked right out of here with it.
I
It'd
would-
be sitting
yeah.
right back there next to the custard at Culver's.
Do you think he would have brought it back to the store? I hope.
I think so. I think it would have been a rallying cry for the entire staff. But Tyler did not make it a title match, did not make it a championship match, and probably not a bad idea because the questions were jank. I mean,
They were awful.
They were awful.
Questions were bad. It was a new scoring system, so it's not even really triple threat trivia. So
fair.
you can make that argument. And also, EG cheated.
How did I cheat?
You blurted out 2 answers. You can't do that.
Oh, Tyler.
It's okay.
We're going to be okay for because I didn't cheat.
Okay. This is why we can't play trivia in this studio ever. It ends up leading to awful things happening there. We do appreciate everybody being in the chat here with us today. And I hope that today we have multiple answers for every question I ask, because I've got a lot of things I want to talk about.
Are we playing Tim with Tim?
We're not playing Tim with Tim.
No,
I'm
what?
sorry.
Tee that up so perfectly.
I wish I could have produced Tim with Tim today, but no Tim with Tim. We got too much entertainment to talk about. I actually took a trip out to the casino.
What casino?
So I went to Tunica. I went to the Horseshoe, the Caesars property. I'm pretty loyal to Caesars properties, and I went out to the Horseshoe and got wrecked in slots and roulette.
I don't understand slots, and I can't get it.
Well, let me explain.
I'm with you, EG.
You put the money in and you hit a button until the money is gone or until the money becomes very big. And then you hit another button and they end up printing you out a little voucher that you take to a cage and you get money for that voucher.
It just feels so like there's no strategy.
Let me tell you, I was never up on any slot I played all weekend long. I was not up one time on any slot. I got up one time on roulette, held it for about 2 hours, and then gave it right back. So I love roulette, but it's not kind to me. It is my vixen in the night that leaves me dead on the side of the highway. So that is roulette. That's my relationship with roulette. Now, I'm a poker player. Right. They have a card room at the Horseshoe, but one thing I hate to do is take my wife on a trip to the casino and then leave her for extended periods of time, because you know this. When you're playing poker, the clock moves pretty quick. I mean, all of a sudden you're 8 hours in the future and you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
It's like, well, you have played 247 hands. It's like, did I?
Did I really?
Yeah. And I didn't want to do that thing where I just abandoned her to go play poker. So it really wasn't, for me, it was not about the money, right? I was using poker money to gamble with and this other stuff. But I did place a pretty sizable bet on the UAB win-loss total. I bet the under. It's at 4.5. UAB, this is easy free money for everybody, okay? And once again, we should probably have some little thing about how gambling advice here. Please don't blame Tim Melton if it doesn't work out.
Don't sue us, please.
However,
this is Melton's lock.
However, I'm a UAB football fan. I've watched UAB football for a long time. When people go, hey, Alabama or Auburn, and I go UAB, they're like, no, but really. So I've lived it. And I went to school there, went to the games when they were at Legion Field, been to Protective to watch UAB. It's not a great product. And it's gotten even worse with Trent Dilfer being the head coach. Now, with all that being said, Trent Dilfer has not won an away game in 2 years. Okay, so that's already half the slate gone. The team transferred out pretty much from last year. The talent we had last year transferred out. There's a lot of people that have transferred in their fourth stop, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. But I'm not betting big on the UAB Blazers to be very successful this year in front of their dozens of fans. And me being one of them, I am one of their dozens of in-person fans. I'm taking a lot of shots here at UAB, but it's I want to see the best for the program. And I worry that we're inching closer to canceling the program than we are actually being a part of something that's a rebuilding momentum and getting it back to where it was under Bill Clark. So with all that being said, one of two things is going to happen. Either I'm going to hit on my bet that they're not going to win 5 games, or UAB is going to be 1 game away from bowl eligibility. And either way, I consider it a win.
You can't lose.
I mean, I really can't. So
Nice for you.
we'll see how that goes. And I'm looking forward to seeing if that bet ends up paying off. But I took what was remaining of my little pro tip when you go to the casino. Never go to the ATM, ever. You go once, you'll go a million times. So I never go to the ATM. So I
imagine the fees on those casino ATMs are pretty nuts too.
The fees are bad, and plus, the minute you make the piece with I'm going to go to the ATM to get cash, if you go lose that,
you've made it a thing now.
Well,
Back.
just one more time's not bad. I mean, I just want to get back what I lost. No, you never do that. So one of my hard, fast rules for casino gambling is you never go to the ATM at a casino, ever. What you bring is all you gamble with, and that's it. You never tap into other portions of your life.
But did you know that 85% of people who gamble quit just before they make it big?
You're right. I need to go. I was about to head back. But no, so I took what was remaining of the cash bankroll I brought, and I put it all on UAB with the under. So we'll see what happens there, but we'll monitor that throughout the course of the season.
Today on TNR, we talked about coaches playing golf because Hugh Freeze has been getting a lot of criticism for that. So what's your opinion on that with your team?
Well, I mean, I hope that there's more emphasis put on offensive and defensive progressions than there are on golf swings and what irons to use at certain times. I hope that that's the case. But I am just going to take the under and see what happens, okay? Because I look at the schedule. Other people have looked at the schedule. And I think there are long stretches where UAB is going to be challenged to find a win. And that's enough to kill a lot of sort of the excitement within a program if you're losing week after week. And then all of a sudden there's the blame game, and then, you know, you start to have buyout talks and all that stuff. So,
And then you look around at the empty stadium and go, well, what is this even for?
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah. You have a lot of people that maybe aren't as connected to the program, and they start to have a little bit of frustration there. So we'll see what happens. But either way, I win. Either UAB is going to have its best year under Trent Dilfer, or one of their last years under Trent Dilfer. So we'll see.
You'll get paid.
And I'll get paid. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, enough about UAB. We do have Daniel in the chat. Tim and EG, is there a good online place to play poker at a basic level against the computer? No. That's the quick answer.
Oh, Daniel, I'm so sorry.
There is not a good free online place to play poker at a basic level against the computer. Plus, you don't really want to play against the computer. I know a lot of people are probably like, well, if I play against the computer, you know, there's no risk. You can play against other people around the country on different sites and stuff, and there's no risk. You know, obviously here in the U.S., there's only certain states where you can actually play for money online, and, you know, unless you have some sort of private game with agreed upon terms and all that. But
MyBookie.ag has casino games.
nice. They don't have poker.
Oh, they don't
But-
have poker.
No.
Okay.
They don't have poker, but
Never
they do
mind.
have the blackjack there.
They have other games.
Yes, they do. What I would recommend is, this is what got me sort of into it. If you have an Xbox, there's a free to download game called Prominence Poker. Prominence Poker that is really good. And you sit down in tournament games of 6, and as long as you make top 3, you end up getting back some money for your bankroll. It's all obviously fake and in-game currency, and you can buy different props and stuff. But that's what really got me into playing poker. I started playing it leading up to the pandemic. Then I started playing it with friends in the pandemic. And then all of a sudden we started playing real games in person, and then it kept going. And I really like Prominence Poker on the Xbox, so that's good. Poker Stars, for the most part, if you're going to play on a desktop or a laptop, I'd recommend Poker Stars. It's a fun, free bankroll game. Once again, there's no cost to sign up. You can play the game. The problem I have with playing in a lot of tournaments or even ring games online with fake money is that people don't take the game seriously because there's nothing they can lose. So if they get pocket jacks, they're all in every time. If they get pocket 8s, they're all in every time. If they get ace 4 suited, they're all in every time.
There's no strategy.
There's no strategy. It's not like, it doesn't make you a better poker player if you're playing against a bunch of people who are just willing to basically have the rush of wanting to get in all their chips at all the time. The thing I like about Prominence is, once again, fake chips, free to download, absolutely zero cost. People take the game seriously because they care about managing their perks within the game. They care about, there's some sort of reward system where people have to take the game seriously. You can't just go in and barrel it and expect to be able to continue to play, because then you have that thing where you have to wait 24 hours for your chips to reload and stuff. So,
Oh, I see.
right, unless you end up buying them, but, you know, once again, I don't recommend that. So it gives you a progression system where that works, and your first game is against the computer to start off. They kind of give you a tutorial. It's against the computer. So Prominence Poker, it's free to download. It's got great environments, great game mechanics. I played it last night, actually, and I'm still enjoying it even after evolving my poker journey. So I would recommend Prominence if you get the chance to play it. Super low risk, super fun, and great poker system. So I actually saw poker being played in VR, which I think is like the future of the game.
Really?
Yeah. Like you can sit around and
Ooh, that's kind of weird.
you got the cards in front of you. You can sit around and talk to everybody. There's a chat system and everything. But I got to watch it. I didn't get to play it. But, I think that's the future where we're all, like being able to sit around and play in the same room with our headsets on or whatever. And,
Makes me sad.
well, we still got tonight. So we'll make that work. Okay, enough about poker. Let's get into people poking around in your mouth. Because
Yeah.
there's only a small group of people that I let poke around in my mouth, and 3 of them are over on Grants Mill Road, and that is Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, Dr. Nolan, over at Alabama Dental Associates. They're going to have you smiling, just like I'm going to be watching these football games in a couple of weeks. I mean, we are so close.
We're literally...
We're getting there.
Where does the time go?
I know. Dr. Brian loves watching football all throughout the course of the season, and you're going to love visiting with Dr. Brian, talking some football over there at Alabama Dental Associates. Whether you have major work that needs to be done or you just need to get on top of those regular cleanings, they are there for you. If you're new in town, need to make sure you have a dentist on standby, then reach out and try Alabama Dental Associates for yourself. Maybe you've had some sort of nagging tooth issue, and you're like, look, I'm worried about the payment plans, and I'm worried about what else they're going to tell me, and I'm telling you, go ahead, get in there, get seen, get the trusted advice. They're very flexible with all their insurance options, and they will come up with a plan that works for you there with making sure that you're taking care of your dental health. Accepting new patients now can help you feel at ease about all of your upcoming dental procedures. For more information or to make an appointment, call them 205-956-8977 or visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. Okay, let's talk about the box office here. I did not go to the movies one time over the July 4th holiday. However, on the way back from Tunica, Mississippi, I stopped in Tupelo.
Tupelo honey.
Yes. And there was a Cinemark there at the mall. We stopped at the mall. My wife loves going to out-of-state malls, which was why we ended up at Lenox Square. It's why we ended up at whatever this mall was. I don't remember, but it's in Tupelo. It was like the bridge at River Crossings or something. I don't know, something like that. They had a carousel. It was nice. It was fun. But she loves going to the mall. And we went to the mall, went to the Barnes & Noble there, looked at their Criterion collection, 50% off. Didn't really have it advertised there in the store that it was 50% off.
No, I don't think they have it at the one here either. But, like, the sale is definitely going on. It's just, like,
if
you got to know.
You got to know.
Because, I mean, they're not going to scream out of the front door, hey, you can get these $50, $60 discs for $20 to $30 today.
Mm-hmm. Amazon's also running a Criterion Collection sale.
Prime Day.
Their Prime Days are coming up, but this is even separate of Prime Days. Yeah. This is just to compete with Barnes & Noble. So, like, I could have gotten Pan's Labyrinth and Silence of the Lambs from Criterion for $20 a pop. With being a Prime member, it all works out. By the way, Prime screenings happening starting tomorrow with Superman. Mm-hmm. We are not going to that. Nope. We are going to hold out for the traditional release on Thursday. We're going to let sort of that buzz that's about to hit tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a very heavy Superman day because there's going to be a lot of first reactions out of what people think about these movies. A couple of the reactions have already sort of leaked. Some of them negative.
The Hollywood Reporter dropped an article and then immediately deleted it.
Yeah, the embargo issue is a whole separate thing because, like, I saw somebody getting criticized that was a member of the press that ended up putting out a review of Jurassic World after going to the Screen Unseen. The Screen Unseen.
I would think that'd be okay, though.
Well, they were upset because this person works in media and they release. But the person's like, this makes no sense why Universal be upset with me because I literally paid my ticket to go see the movie like everybody else. And, I guess they didn't. It just didn't make any sense. But the embargo is an important thing. Once it's lifted, we'll know more about what the early reactions are to Superman. We're looking forward to seeing it on Thursday. All that being said, there is a king of the mountain for sure right now, and that is Jurassic World Rebirth. I was there at the mall with the Cinemark going. I kind of wanted to sneak in there and watch a movie. I mean, I love going into movie theaters, and I've never been to a Cinemark.
Yeah, I was about to say, we don't have any Cinemarks around here, so that'd be a cool experience, see what popcorn buckets they have, see what food items they have on the menu, all that sort of jazz.
Yeah, they promoted the luxury recliners and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to try their popcorn and, see how it compares to AMC. I'll tell you, the worst thing about AMC, I think, is the napkins. The napkins
they're like stiff.
They're stiff, and at times, I hate to be gross, they smell like a wet dog.
They smell pretty bad. You're right.
Like, the napkins smell like a wet dog at AMC.
And all the AMCs have the worst napkin dispensers ever. The ones that I always hate. The ones that are, like, you got to reach in and you get, like, one at a time.
They're not absorbent either. They don't wipe your hand.
They're awful. They're cheap. The napkin situation at AMC, I would pay an extra $1 a month for A-list to get better quality napkins.
Oh, yeah. Like, you just walk in and they just hand you a roll of paper towels. It's like, here's your bounty, sir.
I got to start bringing my own napkins. But the napkins at AMC are awful. So I wanted to try the Cinemark napkins.
I can't
That's
wait
the state
until
of
you
movie
get
going.
busted for bringing in your own napkins.
Exactly.
Bringing in outside napkins.
Exactly. It's going to be like that scene from Monsters, Inc. where there's just the contamination squad comes in and just hauls me away. Tyler would quickly be like, I don't know this guy. But anyway, yeah, the napkins there suck. I don't know what I was talking about other than Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yeah.
Absolutely dominated at the domestic and international box office from a sense that the market share, it dominated the market share for the most part. It was more than triple what second place made, which was F1. EG, I'm ready for your F1 review. What'd you think?
I'm going tonight with the Sisks. I had some extenuating circumstances that kept me out of the theater.
What time's your showing?
4:45.
Oh, gosh, I actually believe you now.
Yeah.
Because I was
I
like,
expect an out of the theater reaction.
oh, we'll see about that. I just want you to go see the movie.
I know, and I literally, I was out of Sisks last night. I spent the night. That is a hard tongue twister. Was with the Sisks last night and spent the night, and we're going today as a unit.
I believe you. When you said you were going tonight, I was like, we have poker tonight. Are you just
4:45.
But when you said 4:45, I know. Hold on, you're the only person who can not turn in your homework assignment and then blame the instructor who's asked multiple times for you to turn in your homework assignment and feel like you got a win off of it.
I know.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I feel better. I sleep better.
You know what you should start doing in poker hands? I'm not
Gaslighting
kidding.
people?
Well, yes, but you should start proclaiming wins from less experienced players. Like, oh yeah, my hand just won, and just start taking the chips, and they won't correct you. And that's the way you build up your bankroll.
I can think of 2 people I might do that to tonight.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, yeah, you had Jack 10 and it didn't hit anything, but you know what? It's the best hand, and you just and no one would debate you.
Though? Wouldn't that's on the dealer to not do that?
Well, it depends on. I think it depends on who's dealing your table. But anyway, I don't want to come up with ways to cheat.
Like when I was dealing at y'all's games, you 100% could have gotten away with that.
Yeah, Tyler.
100%.
All right, that sounds good to me.
No.
Yeah. All right. Poker and Tyler, not really the best of
No.
marriage. However,
I mean, if y'all didn't play so late, if the games didn't go till 1 a.m.,
Fair.
like because the issue became, I'd be over there dealing till like midnight, 1 a.m., go home, and then get up early to run Monday Morning Live because it was the fall. So, just not enough time in the day.
well, you wouldn't get up to run Monday morning
Well,
live.
actually, no, it'd be the other way around. I would get up to run Monday Morning Live and then be up late.
You were paid handsomely for your efforts, and we appreciate your
No,
tenure.
I appreciated it.
It was a fun run, but it's over. F1 the movie is in the number 2 spot. And this is what I think is maybe the second biggest loser on the weekend. And I'm being a little bit overreactive, okay?
I thought that'd be the winner coming out over Jurassic World.
Yeah, that would have never happened.
Why?
No.
Because F1 had already been out a week. So
Jurassic World came out this weekend?
Jurassic World came out Wednesday.
I thought it was out earlier.
No.
No, I
Okay.
just got to see it like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm excited to get your F1 review.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is a bad second week for F1. Because it's a holiday weekend, multiple people going to the theaters. It is a movie that is a very safe movie, like you could bring the whole family to it. It'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And it only made $26 million over this past weekend. It added 71 theaters week over week. It's still splitting premium formats with Jurassic World. So it's still in some of the premium formats, which I feel like is like, if there's any movie this year that benefits from seeing it in a premium format, it's F1. It's F1. And F1's about to lose those screens to Superman.
Yep.
So, like, the chance to go see it in its premium format, like, it's just, I don't know, it feels like such a big drop-off. I feel like...
Do you think it was just a bad release date for this to come out?
No.
No?
Not the release date. What it is I feel very confident about this, but, I mean... It's also backing up my opinion. I think people lost their minds over F1 a little bit too much with like just because it is such a flashy movie and it's so visually appealing and its sound design so good and it feels like you're in the cockpit of an F1 race car. I mean, it has that adrenaline rush that a lot of people ran out and they're like, oh my gosh, but if you peel back the layers, it's a very generic movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like that hurt it.
Oh.
And it's week 2. I feel like people are like, like Lance, for instance. Lance is very much like, hey, should I see F1? It's like, if you like technical adrenaline rushes, yes, absolutely. But narratively, I mean, it's pretty paper thin. I'm going to skip it. Okay, if you give people any reason to not go to the movies and skip something, they do it. And I think F1's week 2 shows that.
Okay.
Now, some people wanted to get right back on that roller coaster, but...
Yeah, we got Hunter in the chat saying he's already seen it 3 times. And he's calling you an F1 hater.
I'm not an F1 hater. I'm an F1 realist. There's a difference. The movie is fun in the theater. Is it going to be as fun watching that movie at home?
No, not a chance.
Why not?
Because you don't have the premium screen and sound system that really immerses you and makes you actually feel like you're in the pit of an F1 car.
Yeah.
You'll get that feeling somewhat if you've got a really nice entertainment system set up at your home, but you're not going to get that theater quality experience, which is what I was so high on.
You're correct, but F1 is also the one little caveat I'll make. I think you'll agree with me is it's too dependent on that being the experience.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like Top Gun Maverick is a movie you can watch at home and still feel the rush, still feel the connection, still feel the entire experience in your home setup. F1, I was at a 3.5 out of 5 coming out because narratively it is just very basic.
I'm sorry, I looked at the chat and Hunter said that you gave him a high five in the middle of the movie.
I did give him a high five. I wanted to see if he'd high five me back, to be honest. But yeah, there's a moment in the movie where it's like celebratory and I like put my hand up and he hit it back. I tried to get a slow clap going during the movie as well.
Oh my
That
God.
didn't work. But yeah, no, I wanted Hunter to be as immersed by my fandom as possible.
Well, it worked because he says Tim gave me a high five at one point in the movie. He loved it. So he's not buying your criticism right now.
Well, I mean, right out of the theater, I said 3.5 out of 5. But anyway, F1, I think, underperforming week over week compared to what it should have done. I think it should have made 80 and 40. 80 opening weekend, 40 at second weekend. This movie ended up making, what?
It was 66, I believe, first weekend.
60s. I think it was like 60.6. I don't know. But it was like 60 and 30, basically. Let's just take it what it is there. And I feel like that's a little bit underperforming for the level of this movie. I mean, once again, a $300 million movie to make this. Apple's excited. It's our highest grossing movie of all time. I mean, compared to what?
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Wolves? I don't know. It's just like...
Wolves.
You can't really do that.
Yeah. I mean, if you spend $300 million on something, I would hope it does become your highest grossing. But they're trying to spin it, and they're looking for the prestige play and all that. And they're looking to, throw something on their streaming service that they can be super proud of. And F1 is not a bad experience. It's not a bad movie. It's just not, to me, very deep of an experience. And... I don't know. I feel like it's a gimmicky movie. It's a gimmicky movie.
It is, yes.
I'm sorry. It's a really good gimmick.
Yeah.
But it's a gimmicky movie. And I think EG will absolutely adore it. I think she will love it. And I just can't wait for her to see it. And I hear it's happening today.
4:45.
Okay, I can't wait.
Yay.
Coming in the number 3 spot, How to Train Your Dragon there with $11 million. This is a movie that didn't have a huge drop week over week. The number 1 family movie of the holiday. It's been out for 4 weeks now, still making more than Elio, Elefino, I don't know. Elio is there in the number 4 spot.
One every time.
Every time I'm going to continue to do it.
Nobody knows about this movie, this Elio movie. I just keep seeing people going, what even is this? I don't want it.
They paid off the people at the New York Times to include it in the crossword puzzle a couple days ago.
Really?
Yeah, I knew the answer, though.
I believe it.
Well, that's...
They paid for a star on the Walk of Fame during the press run for Snow White, so Gal Gadot could get honored, even though she's not a good actress in any way, shape, or form, and never has been.
That is
I
fair.
mean, it's
Fair.
honest. It's what it is.
Leo there at the number 4 spot. No one going to see this movie. It dropped 515 theaters and has not become something that culturally is more and more relevant week over week. Just not pulling people in. Not pulling people in. 28 years later, holding at the 5 spot. I feel like, okay, this is not such a bad little outcome as the number 1 horror movie. I mean, I don't count Jurassic World Rebirth as a horror movie.
No, it's not.
It's an action movie.
Yeah.
The number 1 horror movie after being out for 3 weeks now, 28 years later, they're at the number 5 spot and worthy of that. I feel like narratively I did get a bunch from this, and I look forward to seeing where they go narratively in the next movie there with the Bone Temple. Megan 2.0. I said F1 was the second biggest negative to report on. I feel like Megan 2.0, it's clearly the worst business decision we've seen a studio make from one movie to another this year at the very least, maybe in the past 10 years, because Megan was pretty well received.
Yes.
It made a bunch of money. It became something that was a little bit of a cultural marker where people knew the character, and you'd have all the dancers out there, and Jim Dunaway does not watch horror movies. He watches romantic comedies. He does not like scary things. Even he knew what Megan was because it hit his TikTok algorithm and stuff. So the fact that this movie has killed the franchise that never really fully got off the ground is pretty damning. Now, you've said if you go in with the mentality of this is not going to be like the first one, and you go in and you're willing to make that agreement that you're looking for a girl boss Terminator 2, that you can have fun with this.
You could. It's still not a good movie. I'd still much rather have seen the first one again in theaters than watched Megan 2.0.
Yeah.
Or just rather than make a new story, but in the horror genre. But this was, it's campy. The dialogue is very corny. It's very dumb the whole way through. And none of the characters are particularly likable, in my opinion. But it's not the worst thing I've seen this year.
Okay. Well, I mean, that they should put that on the poster. Not the worst thing I've seen this year, Tyler Lionel Johns. Megan 2.0, though, missing the mark narratively. The studios even come out and said, we missed the mark. We didn't give people what they wanted.
It's embarrassing.
And Blumhouse, when you hear they're associated with a movie, I think the second word that we associate with Blumhouse is slop. And that's unfortunate that they are falling into that sort of territory. I hope that won't be the case with Black Phone 2. I hope Black Phone 2 is something that we're okay, let's get back to more of this. Saw 11, but what will that story be? What will there's been so much drama around that production and it shutting down, and what are we going to end up getting there? We'll see. But Megan 2.0, one of the biggest misfires, has not even made $20 million domestically.
Ooh.
And I'm talking about total, overall, in 2 weeks.
Ooh.
I mean, really, really poor performance there for Megan 2.0.
And it added 20 new theaters.
21.
21.
Let's not discount that Cinemark in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, just a nightmare situation. It dropped 62.8% week over week. The absolute biggest drop of the top 10, and just a complete dud. So Megan 2.0, people just choosing, I'm not seeing this. Megan's primary audience was men. The first Megan. The primary audience was men because it was a horror movie. Most horror fans are men, just by percentages. When they made this very much like, hey girls, let's go out and have a Barbie moment with Megan 2.0, guys just sat at home. I sat at home, and it hadn't pulled men or women, hadn't pulled anybody. So Megan 2.0, a giant failure. Lilo and Stitch. Has it crossed the $1 billion mark yet? It's got to be close. It's got to be teetering there.
I saw it was at 408 domestic.
It's going to be very, very close.
It's at 972.
Oh, wow.
972. This weekend was a really good one for Lilo and Stitch. As once again, it made as much as Megan. Some reports have it in the 6th spot. Some reports have it in the 7th spot. But Lilo and Stitch in its 7th week made as much as Megan 2.0 in its 2nd week. I just can't talk enough about how much of a failure Megan 2.0 is. And that isn't a movie that lacked for advertising, Megan 2.0.
Oh, no. Blumhouse smacks you in the face with advertising.
Everywhere. So they did actually spend a lot of money advertising this movie. And it's not going to work out for them.
They typically spend more on the marketing budget than they do on the movie.
Fair.
Blumhouse.
Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Bo, our boss, just went to go see Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning this weekend, and he said he loved it. He said it was great. I think Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is a better movie than F1.
I agree.
Both of them are built on spectacle. I just feel like you get way more of the emotional kick with what you get with Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, with more, obviously, you've got more fully developed characters because you're coming off so many different movies. It's not a fair debate. F1, it has to present everybody in one quick swipe there. I just feel like the emotional hit you get off of Mission Impossible is a good one, and I feel like that this movie is going to be looked at as a successful end to the franchise if it is indeed the final Mission Impossible. We will see. Materialist dropping from the 8th to the 9th spot, making 1.3 million. It's in a little over 1,000 theaters now. This is one of my least favorite movies of the year. I hate this thing, but there's no denying that it found an audience that wanted to go check it out. I believe it is a false marketing movie. I feel like it does not tell you what the themes of the movie are in the marketing at all before you get in there and realize that this is a little bit more of a heavy-handed piece of social commentary that has one of my favorite lines of the entire year out of context, which is someone accusing another person of just being a pimp. And I was laughing. I was the only one in there laughing.
That's such a unique phrase.
Oh, it came out of nowhere. And all I could think of was The Godfather from wrestling with his train of ladies that he would bring down to the group to the ring with him. And when this character you're just a pimp. I couldn't help myself. I thought it was the funniest line delivery I can't believe it made Final Cut.
I kind of want to.
Oh,
you actually just sold me on the movie now.
I'm telling you, there's one line where it comes out of nowhere, and it's just you're a pimp.
See, I immediately pictured Cat Williams as a pimp named Slickback from the Boondocks.
I wish they would have cut to that immediately after, but anyway, Materialist is just one of the strangest movies I've ever seen, and it's very odd, and it has a bunch of sad, rich, good-looking people that don't know how to find happiness in their life, and it's amazing.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of TikTok responses, and my demographic, not impressed.
Correct. Yeah.
Very over it.
Not a rom-com.
No.
Very much
Is it elitist a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Poor Chris Evans. Anyway, we won't get into it. But if you see Materialist, let me know, Tyler, because that pimp line gets me every time. And then the re-release, the 41st anniversary re-release of This Is Spinal Tap coming in there in the 10th spot. I wish it would have landed at the 11th. Because if you know Spinal Tap, you got to turn it up to an 11. But it ended up landing there at the 10th spot. So that works out there for that, making a little less than $1 million there in its anniversary re-release. Ballerina was still holding on, hoping that maybe some people would find it this late in the game because it is a holiday weekend. Didn't work out for Ballerina.
More people went to go see Spinal Tap.
I know. A movie that's been out for 41 years.
And a movie that you would have had to pay out of pocket for even if you have A-list because it's a Fathom event.
Correct. Ballerina is going to leave Lionsgate wondering how much more they can mine out of their John Wick universe without John Wick and Keanu Reeves being the focal point.
Yeah, I wonder where this leaves the Donnie Yen Kane spinoff. Because I actually really like that character and would like to see him in more, but I don't know if I want them to take the Ballerina approach to it and underworld it up.
I'm going to be mean here again. Hunter Bussey, go ahead and buckle your seatbelt while you're sitting there in your F1 rig at home. What I'm going to say
race
is
car bed.
exactly. Now you're being the mean one, okay? I'm being nice. You're taking the shots. Ballerina and F1 have a similar issue in that the motivation for the characters, the story, it's really generic. Ballerina,
Oh yeah.
take away the John Wick element of it. It's the most generic revenge action plot in the history of revenge action plots.
Oh yeah, I saw I actually don't even know if I filmed the short for it. A movie called Tornado in theaters, and it was about a samurai that runs a puppet show, and then it ends up with the same plot where the daughter avenges her father's death, and chasing down the guys who went after her, and she plots to also like get up financially too. It's the same movie.
It's like if you were to ask a chat bot to come up with what's the most generic revenge plot line ever?
They killed my father.
They killed my dad, or they killed my parents, or they killed, the people who raised me, and they left me as an orphan, and I had to come back and I had to murder on their behalf. It's just, we've seen it 1,000 times. And F1 is very much can you teach old dog new tricks type of underdog, grizzled veteran sports story, taking on the young guns. Like, we've seen that too. If you've ever watched any Rocky movie ever, you have some element of that in every Rocky movie. So once again, it makes it sound like I hate F1, makes it sound like I hate Ballerina. They're both about the same for me of where they are score-wise. Like, Ballerina's like a 3 out of 5. F1's like a 3.5 out of 5, because the story is just like, they put so much effort into the technical aspects of what they were delivering. Like, did either one of us criticize the action scenes from Ballerina? No.
I did. But more so.
No, that's true. That's true.
I ripped into him a good bit because I don't like Lynn Wiseman as a director.
That's fair. That's completely fair, Tyler. But the biggest issue was you didn't connect. You didn't connect to the story mainly. And anyway, I'm glad that a lot of people are having fun with the technical aspect. I just feel like once the newness shines off of F1 and it starts to lose theaters, nobody's going to be saying it should be winning any screenwriting awards for sure. But EG, you're going to love it. It's going to be perfect for you.
I love how you always, after like criticizing it and tearing it down, it's not going to win any award. EG, you're going to love it.
No, it's going to win a bunch of technical awards. I feel like it's going to be the running. But
just for the plot, it's not really.
I mean, I think the person who sat down to write this had you in mind when they were writing it.
Oh, I feel so seen.
And they said, we're going to make this thing hit every one of your check marks. I'm telling you, it is the EG movie of the year.
Maybe I know them.
Maybe so. Maybe so. But just visually soak it all in.
Okay.
Because you're never going to get that in-theater experience with this movie again. And that is one thing that does deliver. It's just the spectacle of it. So enjoy it.
Okay.
And we'll get your review tomorrow. That's going to do it for us here on The Meltdown, unless anybody else has anything. I want to point out one thing before we go. This is a big week for Superman. Superman, we're going to see it later this week, and we'll have our full review, non-spoiler, on Friday, and we'll do a spoiler review for this one on Friday. With that being said, Tyler is doing a rewatch.
Yeah.
He likes to punish himself.
Well, you say rewatch. I had never actually seen the OGs.
He's doing a first-time watch
slash a rewatch.
He's going through the entire Superman franchise. A little birdie, that being Tyler, has told me you're now on Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Oh, yeah.
That is the only Superman movie in the history of the franchise that did not open up at number 1.
Really?
It opened up at number 4 the weekend it came out. It's a stinker. It's a low point for the franchise. And
well, I feel like I could barely get through 3 at some points.
So,
because like the bad guy in 3 is just Timu Lex Luthor. And then also you've got Superman doing just like the goofiest stuff ever when he, turns evil. He goes and like straightens out the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and then he blows out the Olympic flame. It's so dumb.
He's got that 5 o'clock shadow working for him. Like, I kind of like the look, to be honest. It's like a little bit of a darker suit.
Yeah, it's like
he's drinking during the day.
I guess more of a grounded take on Bizarro, kind of.
Fair.
but the rest of the movie, oh my gosh.
It's amazing the 4 Superman movies with Christopher Reeve sort of followed the 4 traditional Batman movies in that, like, the first one was iconic. The second one was a little bit more of a mess production-wise with director hostility. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, the final product turned out to where it's, like, loved by a lot of people, depending on which cut of Superman 2, and then Batman Returns. But then you start to go, well, how do we Schumacher this up? And how do we, like, make this a little bit more of, like, hey, let's bring in a hot star like Jim Carrey or Richard Pryor.
Yes.
See what I'm doing here?
Absolutely. And then
you get your Batman and Robin.
Oh,
you get your quest for peace.
No, this is going to be awful.
Well, think about it. Batman and Robin kept Batman on the shelf from 97 to 2005.
Yeah, and then Superman 4 Quest for Peace kept him on the shelf until 06 for Superman Returns.
Correct. And there's a reason, because these movies were...
Superman Returns put him back on the shelf until Zack Snyder dusted him off.
That is correct. And
used some speed ramps.
Superman keeps...
Slow-mo punches.
Superman keeps being put back on the shelf for long extended periods of time. We're going to see if that's the case after we watch Superman this week. We'll be honest with you. It is our most anticipated movie of the year, but at this point, to be frank with you, we are exhausted.
Yes.
And I saw Smuff in the chat referencing comments made by James Gunn this weekend when talking about the movie. And, you know, the question is, are they trying to tank the movie with alienating portions of the audience that are going to look at this movie as being divisive with where we are culturally? I need to see the movie and see what the intent and see what all that is first and see if it's...
There's just so much noise around it. Now you got this stuff. Last week it was the scene that ended up getting cut from the final cut of Ultraman punching Crypto, and then before that it was why is Superman wearing trunks? And then this whole time you've got the Snyder fanboys just screeching as loud as they can. I'm ready to get it over with so we can actually critique it and move on.
James Gunn and Zack Snyder ending up on Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Debating Superman.
I don't watch the show anymore, but I saw the clip. It was very funny. Zack Snyder's walking up to James Gunn at the Warner Brothers commissary and says, you know, it's called Man of Steel, not Man of Conversation. You need to add more shots of him punching. Here's my trick. You shoot it, and then you speed ramp it way down, and then you speed it back up again.
They were both very self-deprecating in this appearance, and they played themselves, and they're good friends. People don't realize this. They think they're mortal enemies because they're both tackling Superman. These guys work together for years. They're good friends.
Didn't they work on Dawn of the Dead together?
They did. Zack Snyder was the director, and then you had James Gunn as the screenwriter, and I love that movie, by the way.
It's a great movie.
So, anyway, we're entering a week where there is no going back after this. This is a movie. We're not being dramatic that will define the superhero genre. Years ago, there were 2 movies I said would be the biggest deals, one way or the other. One was Deadpool and Wolverine, I said, because it was a chance for Marvel to get back to some level of cultural relevance.
Yes.
It became the biggest opening weekend in the history of the month of July in cinema. It became a $1 billion film. It became the highest grossing R-rated movie. It ended up leading to pretty much nothing, no sustained momentum. Also, it's led to Ryan Reynolds becoming a more polarizing figure because of the whole Blake Lively and Ends With Us saga. But there was no doubt that that needed to be a hit in order for more things to be made. And it was a massive hit.
It was a Band-Aid, but they desperately needed a Band-Aid.
They desperately needed a Band-Aid, and they got it in Deadpool and Wolverine.
And then Brave New World ripped off that Band-Aid and just started poking around in the wound.
Yeah, and Thunderbolts decided we're going to be like the prestige film of the summer or the year, and just that play didn't work. Superman is also right there in being incredibly important. People are like, well, you know, Fantastic Four's coming out here. No, I'm telling you, Superman is the most important movie of the year. People are going to make up their mind about the future of the DCU. They're going to make up their mind about the future of comic book movies in general. Marvel is rooting for Superman.
Yes.
I
they
know that
want it
sounds
to do
weird.
really well, just not quite as well as they are doing.
If Superman absolutely sucks, Marvel's going to be like, oh gosh, we're going to have some tough decisions coming up of what it is that we're going to move forward with.
Because it's just gonna reinforce that superhero fatigue that a lot of people are feeling right now.
You know, you have one bad experience somewhere, you typically don't want to go repeat that. Superhero movies are all lumped in together for the most part when it comes to general audiences, and it's a huge week. So we'll have more Superman speculation tomorrow. We'll have more Superman speculation throughout the course of the week, but then we're finally going to get a chance to see the movie. Make up our own minds, and my hope is that I want to see it a second time. If I don't want to see this movie a second time, that's a big miss.
Did you want to see Man of Steel a second time?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right.
No, I didn't want to see Superman Returns a second time. I didn't want to see Justice League a first time. When it came out, it was the only Batman movie I've ever willingly skipped.
Oh, you didn't even go see Justice League?
Out of protest, I did not go see the movie.
Man, I went to go see the theatrical Justice League. Wow.
I watched it on HBO Max when it came out.
Oh, did you watch the Snyder Cut? Or
I watched both, yeah.
Oh.
I didn't like either.
Yeah.
The Snyder Cut is just a more pretentious version of a bad movie.
You're telling me adding 2 hours to the runtime didn't fix all the problems?
Oh, having it in black and white and also like 3x4. No, I didn't. I was like, oh, I want to watch the postage stamp version of this Auteur's filmmaker classic. No, I don't like anything that Zack Snyder has done in the superhero genre post-Watchmen. I loved Watchmen. Really loved Watchmen. Like, when Zack Snyder was hired to take on Superman, I was excited because I was thinking, like, oh, this is going to be great. Same way I felt about Rob Zombie taking on Halloween. I was like, man, I love Rob Zombie's House of Thousand Corpses. I love Devil's Rejects. This pick makes sense for me to bring Michael Myers to a new generation. Man, I was wrong on both of those.
See, I think Zack Snyder did 300, right?
He did.
Yeah, 300 soured me on Man of Steel because all of my friends loved that movie, and then we go see Man of Steel, and we're all excited for it. I'm like, I don't know. This guy made 300. I don't want to see Superman, you know, hit somebody with the "This is Sparta" kick, and then he ends up snapping necks. So same thing.
Yeah, I hated Man of Steel. I hated Batman v Superman. I hated Justice League. I hated Suicide Squad. I hated all those. So my hope is that we're entering a better future for Superman, the character, the movies, all that, and that it delivers on people's bang for their buck. But if you're planning on seeing it maybe Saturday, Sunday, we won't spoil anything for you when it comes to our reviews out of the theater and our reviews on Friday on the non-spoiler edition. But we will tell you our honest thoughts about what we think about it because we've been counting this down for a long, long time.
Yep.
And we're finally here, and I want to watch it with a live audience there on its opening day and get the full experience. So we'll let you know how that goes.
And then also Friday, hopefully I will have made my way through every Superman movie, and I'll be able to give you my full ranking for all of them.
Yes, we will have a Meltdown countdown of worst Superman theatrically released movie to best. I'll let you do the whole thing, so that way we can start right there at the bottom, which, by the way, Quest for Peace probably going to be a contender.
Probably going to be Quest for Peace.
Probably. But anyway, Tyler's going to make his way through that. We're going to make our way through another week of the Meltdown. And, E.G., I hear that you're going to be making your way through F1 today.
Yes.
Like, officially. You haven't canceled the tickets?
I don't know. Megan's in charge.
Oh, gosh. Okay. So if it doesn't happen, blame her.
I always have an out, Tim.
I hear you. Well, let's hope you have some outs tonight at the poker table. We'll get your review of how you played tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun as EG is looking for a big tournament win here at the PTPC.
I am.
That is going to do it for us. Thank you for spending your time here with us, whether you're watching live or on demand or in the podcast section. If you're listening there, we appreciate you taking us on the road with you. Make sure you download wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you subscribe, download there. We appreciate it very much. We will see you again tomorrow, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern, right here on Meltdown Live.